We want to touch the person who created us and understand and know him. So my Bible study went to 350 people once a month for over 20 years. Ashley Judd was right here. Denzel Washington was right here. Paris, Kim Kardashian, Charlize Theron, Robert Downey Jr. back here.
Yeah.
Barry Gordy right next to me. Some of the biggest stars in the world. So that's how I started.
Yeah.
In my 20s with that kind of group. Spirituality is to get in alignment with the Creator. The Bible says guard your heart, because out of your heart, or your corazón in Spanish, come everything. Faith, joy, peace, success, prosperity, all comes from the Spirit. And if God promotes you, nobody can demote you.
Ooh, mic drop right there. Welcome back to Pain to Power, you guys. You have heard him already on my show. If you haven't, I encourage you to go back a few episodes and look up his name. But of course, I had to bring him back on. He is none other than the worldwide thought leader, life strategist, author, and speaker. Best known as the original comeback coach, he has a remarkable reputation for guiding high-profile individuals through personal recovery and discovery. His profound insights in coaching have transformed many lives, including my own. I am honored to introduce my mentor and friend, Tim Storey, to the show.
What an intro. And did you hear the audience? They're going wild.
Wild.
Yes. Good to see you.
I had to bring you back, of course, because
Yes.
I know when we first spoke, I was like, oh yeah, I want to take the pressure off and I don't want to do any visuals or videos and things like that. Yet here we are.
Yeah. And I'm loving this set.
Thanks.
So you love this set and what you're doing and your crew.
Yeah.
And is this kind of like a relaunch of the podcast? Explain to the people that are watching for the first time.
Yeah, I think it's like a 2.0 version, just kind of giving visuals. And I think it just allows the audience to really connect more on a deeper level with with the listeners and viewers, and just like really connect, because it's so much more powerful when you're speaking in person together. You got the body language, you got, that connection. And I just feel like it's so much deeper than just doing it over Zoom.
Yeah, I like this. And I just want to brag on you for a second. So when you spoke at Aspire, people loved you so much. But I like how personable you were with everybody, because I think they expect somebody that's on a Netflix show to just go straight to the green room. But I noticed you kept being out there, like talking to people. So even though you're interviewing me, can I ask you a question? Why do you like doing that?
Connecting with people is really a huge passion of mine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another reason why I decided to bring back this podcast, because I felt like something like that. I'm just meant to be doing this, and not for me, but for others, and for others that are watching and listening.
Yes.
Because there's so much power in people and people's stories. And that's why Pain to Power, that's what it's all about.
Yes.
And I just feel like it's my calling.
I love it.
Yeah. But thank you for pointing that out. That means a lot to me.
It's an observation.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So I'm really, really excited for our episode today. I haven't had it yet on the show, but I would love to kind of delve into the spiritual realm and just kind of have you take us to church today.
Yeah.
So I would like to start off with you growing up in the church and the background and all of that. So can you tell us a little bit about what that was like, and then maybe go into how you got into Hollywood?
Yes. Okay.
So, yeah.
So I'll start with, there's 8 areas of our life. There's the physical, okay? Then there's the spiritual. Then there's the mental, which is your mindset, okay? So the physical, the spiritual, the mental. Then you have your job. Then you have your finances. Then you have a relationship, whether you're in one or if you're single. Then you have your family. And then you have your social life. And it's interesting to me that we live in a society that is doing a lot of chasing to get the right career, to have the right money. And really, the issues of life all come from the spirit. So the Bible says, guard your heart, because out of your heart, or your corazón in Spanish, come everything: faith, joy, peace, success, prosperity, all comes from the spirit. Mm-hmm. So I love this conversation of the spirit, because the spirit is our essence.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you grew up, I think you said since you were 4 or something, in church,
going to
right?
church, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you were a preacher first.
Yes.
For a while. And then you got into being a coach.
Yes.
To the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain a little bit how that was like? And the reason why, because I was thinking about it the other day, as you know, like Hollywood,
yeah,
I'm just going to say it,
mm-hmm.
is known today very satanic.
Yeah.
So how was that like breakthrough, bringing in the church into
yes.
Other Stars? Like where,
mm-hmm.
how did that work?
So it's kind of a cool story that, like, when I was a kid, I was born in Compton, California. And for a lot of people from inner cities or tough cities, their parents are smart enough to take them to church mm-hmm. because they're looking for some type of guidance. So church, to me, I enjoyed, because there was like people telling me about David and Goliath, and Noah built the ark. Mm. And so even at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I liked it. So I kind of got hooked on this feeling that there was a God that was bigger and brighter than me. Mm. So it didn't feel like confinement. It didn't feel like religion. It felt like I could go to another level. So in high school, I was talking to my guidance counselor, and we were talking about where I was going to go to school. And I wanted to go to USC just because I'm an LA guy. I always liked the Trojans in football, the college. And so we were talking a little deeper, the guidance counselor. I said, but I'm also thinking about going to seminary. And he goes, I like this for you. I said, I want to be like a cool Mother Teresa. And Mother Teresa was a nun, for those that do not know. And she was a school teacher. And one day she heard these orphans crying because they didn't have food. And so she decided to start feeding these orphans and then taking orphans in. Mm. And she like changed over her lifetime, not thousands, but millions of orphans. So I'd read a book about her life, and this guidance counselor said, Tim, I like this idea for you. So I went to seminary. Mm-hmm. And then I just kept on going, and then I ended up getting a doctorate in world religion. So my background is humanitarian work, study of religion. Wow. And then a little later, I'll tell you about how I got into Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say is the difference between spirituality and religion?
Yeah. I think religion is a lot of rules and regulations. Mm. And I think that there's been a big pushback, mostly the last 20 years, to the rules and regulations of what people think is traditional religion or church. And for some people, I don't blame them, because I think that there's been a lot of judgment in all forms of religion, not just from the Christian side that I come from.
Right.
But I think that our spirit cries out for the Creator. And we're made in the image and the likeness of God. And so I think that we want to touch the person who created us and understand and know Him. And so I think that is spirituality, is to get in alignment with the Creator. Mm-hmm. So what happened to me is I went to seminary, and I created an inner city program for kids. I was 18, 19 years of age. Wow. I was like a little boy wonder. And I was already helping people in the inner cities. And then people from the NFL found out about me. professional football players, and one very famous football player, when I was only 21, he says, hey, I have money and you have a gift. Let's go do stuff together.
Oh.
So he brought in about 9 of the biggest NFL players of all time, and we started rocking, man. These guys were supporting me to go into all these inner cities and do these outreaches for people to come to Jesus Christ, to build their families. We were rebuilding houses. We were helping people. We were feeding people. We were giving people money. Just awesome. And I did that for probably like 10 years. And in starting at age 20, I started doing it even around the world. So I've now been to 78 countries of the world doing this.
Yeah, that's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. So, and I'm really glad that you explained the difference between spirituality and religion, just going back a little bit, because when people like, even still to this day, people are like, oh, I'm not religious. And it's like, no, you guys, there's a difference, because I'm not religious either. But I think that's also, like I said, very important for people to hear the difference, because there's a lot of church hurt. There's a lot of religious hurt, because the people that preach and say all the things, but they judge you and treat you a different way. They're just like, wait a minute, you're nothing like what you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So people get hurt by that. And so that, unfortunately, is a huge reason why people don't have that connection or ever find God, which is scary.
I totally agree.
So for someone that is hurt, and for someone that's jaded, and they went through that, and growing up, again, that is all about your belief system, right? And what you've seen throughout your entire life. So that's your imprint forever. What would you say to someone that is struggling with breaking through that hurt and just finding and getting to know God maybe for the first time? Yeah.
So I'm going to answer that question while I tell you about getting into Beverly Hills and into the entertainment business.
Okay.
So what happened is I was speaking at a mega church in LA, and a very famous actress who was married to Cary Grant. Like, Cary Grant was like the Brad Pitt of his day. Okay. And this famous actress saw me, and I'll never forget, Ashley Judd was right here. Denzel Washington was right here. It was a very dope church. And I just got done speaking, and we were all in the back chatting. And this lady said to me, oh my God, I love you. You're just so down to earth. Will you do a Bible study for some of my friends in Brentwood? Well, her house was amazing. And out of the 13 people that were there, it was some of the biggest stars in the world. Not kind of stars, mega stars. So that's how I started.
Yeah.
In my 20s with that kind of group.
Got it.
And then this Bible study just kept growing. So we first started doing it twice a month, and then it went to once a month, the Tim Storey Bible study. And next thing I know, one of the girls from the mansion, Playboy Mansion, Monique St. Pierre, she started coming, and she brought like 14 current and ex-playmates. And then Brent Bolthouse, who was running Hyde, which was the hottest nightclub then.
Oh, yeah.
That's where Kim Kardashian was always, and Paris Hilton.
You know about that.
And so all of a sudden, you'd see me around Paris, Kim Kardashian, and people were like, what the heck? It's like they dumped a nightclub into a Bible study. So my Bible study went to 350 people once a month for over 20 years.
Wow. See, I didn't know that.
Oh, it's dope.
Yeah.
And so you could see a Charlize Theron here, Robert Downey Jr. back here.
Yeah.
But then you'd see the leader of Motown, Berry Gordy, right next to me. And the only reason it changed is because of the iPhone. And people were starting to take too many videos of people. And that's when Kanye West came up with that song, and he said, next time I'm in church, please no photos. Because everybody was taking pictures of him because he was just coming to see his boy Tim Storey speak. And people were like all up in everybody's business. And we were having a Bible study.
So it wasn't about Bible studying anymore.
Well, it was about Bible study, but I think you always have those people that have different motives. That wanted to make it about passing a script to somebody or getting discovered. Because I will tell you, out of the top agents and managers, if there was a top 10 in Beverly Hills, I had the top 8.
Wow.
Oh man, by far.
Yeah.
I mean, I had Bernie Burlstein, who's in heaven now, but that was Brad Pitt's guy. Mm-hmm. I had all the guys from the firm. I had the biggest guys at UTA. So, and I'm not ashamed. Mm-hmm. So I would teach the Jesus style. I'd teach Isaiah 61, that Jesus came to bring beauty instead of ashes. Mm. And a lot of people's lives got changed because I did it in my own unique way.
Mm-hmm. I want to go back to that because I do have a question about that. But going back to the last question.
Yeah.
For someone, again, that is jaded or hurt by the church or whatever their past, what would your advice be to them to either find God again or find God for the first time?
Yeah, I would say, number one, that's going to be a lot of people, because I think that for a lot of years, the church was almost like, we're way up here, and then the minister, whether it be a male or a female, was speaking down to people. I don't think that that's what Jesus was all about.
No.
I think Jesus, while walking the earth, was a servant and is a servant, and his vision was to see their vision come to pass, and he was very patient with people. Mm-hmm. You know, Peter was struggling, was, cussing and cutting people's ears off, and Thomas was a doubter. So it's an interesting thing in the Bible. It says in Hebrews 11:32 that God will take our weaknesses and slowly turn them to strength. Mm. And so if the guys in my Bible study were still doing stupid ass stuff, so be it. Mm-hmm. They were growing. Mm-hmm. And so I think that that's one reason that I really got in that city and remain in that city at such a high level in Beverly Hills, in entertainment, doing more than ever, because I do it in the Jesus style. Mm-hmm. He's very patient with people. So if you've been hurt, just realize a lot of us have.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But the one who was bringing the hurt was not God.
Right.
It was people who said that they represented him.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And learning and studying Jesus and how he was when he was on the earth. Mm-hmm. I'm still new, but this is the New Testament, right? After Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. So for anyone that is looking to get that reconnection or find him again and move past that hurt, I would really encourage you to go just start in the New Testament.
Yes.
Learn how Jesus truly was.
Yes.
And go off based on that, not your past experiences from people that are obviously not Jesus, right? Because that's the truth.
I love what you're saying, because it reminds me of like Russell Brand. So I've been around Russell Brand for a long time. And, Russell Brand is known as being out there. But, he's just had like a big Jesus resurrection change, just got baptized.
I noticed a lot of celebrities that's been happening more lately.
Like he's really radical about it.
Okay. And
he's being discipled by somebody, but he's openly talking about the Jesus style and about how awesome Jesus is. Mm-hmm. And I really think that that's what it needs to come back to.
Discipleship?
It needs to come back to the ways of Jesus, okay, which I call the Jesus style, okay? So Jesus, what did he do? He went around healing people. Mm-hmm. So Isaiah 61 gives the mission of Jesus. He went around healing people. Then it says, Isaiah 61, that he took away people's sadness and despair and exchange it for gladness. He took their ashes, which is their dead things, and exchanged it for beauty. And so this is what you're about, and this is what I'm about.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why God has lifted you up into these situations that you're in right now, is because you're standing up for Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And he has given you assignments. And if God promotes you, nobody can demote you.
Ooh, mic drop right there.
Bam.
Yes.
I mean, I'm rolling all this time.
Yes.
And I'm having fun. I've got a bunch of dope projects going on. I'm doing movies. I'm doing Broadway plays. As you know, I got my own talk show coming out next year. I got all these things going. I'm a Jesus guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's obviously a reason why he has set you up the way that he has.
Yes.
Because he that's the plan that he had for you.
Yes.
And opening all those doors. I mean, I know he is never too late or too early, but you should have had a talk show a long time ago.
Yes.
The fact that
thank you.
it took this long.
Thank you. But it was Oprah Winfrey who has talked me into it.
Yeah.
And the thing for me is that I so enjoy what I do,
Mm-hmm.
which is humanitarian work. I was just in Italy speaking, and then I was in Bulgaria doing humanitarian work for 8 days. I'll be in England in about 10 days from now doing the same thing. I so love it. But Oprah said to me, Tim, could you imagine though, you can go to a studio and touch millions and millions of people at one time, but all over the world.
Right.
And so that's what we plan on doing starting next year. And I'm excited about it.
Me too.
But I look forward to having you on my show.
Oh, that would be such an honor.
It'll be the highest ratings. It'll be like J-Lo here and then you.
Oh, let's get that quoted. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I'm really excited for you. Okay, so battleground versus holy ground.
Yeah, great subject.
I really want to hear you break that down.
Yeah. Okay, so life is a battleground. There is spiritual warfare. Even if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in religion, if you don't believe in the devil, you're facing something. There's adversity, there's darkness. There are people that darkness gets into and they do dark things. So the Bible says in Ephesians chapter 6 that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness and demonic forces. So many times you think it's your sister, your jealous sister, who's just trying to get you. It's your jealous sister who's trying to get you, but she might be inspired by demonic forces. And so I think most people are being hit by the demonic and they don't realize it is the demonic. So just as there is light and people who are anointed by God, there are people that are anointed by the enemy, by Satan himself. Some people are so evil, they are anointed by the enemy to steal, kill, and destroy. So that's why the Bible says, put on the whole armor of God that you might be able to stand and then continue to go forward. So people like you and me, we just go forward.
Right.
Because we are in him. So this is powerful.
This is.
If I could just say this, watch. If I was to say to somebody, what's the opposite of up? They'd say down. What is the opposite of black? They'd say white. I'd say, what's the opposite of God? They'd say the devil. No, there's no opposite of God. The devil is under him.
Oof.
He is a defeated foe. So I am just letting him know that he's defeated.
Wow.
Big time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear you.
Yeah.
I especially ever since coming to God, I noticed my gift of discernment is becoming much more strong.
Yes.
And so I'm noticing more of that type of demonic spirits coming around me.
Yes.
I just learned about the Jezebel spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little scary because I'm seeing it in people that are close to me.
Yes.
So, oh my gosh, I'm getting chills right now. What would you say to the person that knows that there are people close to you with that demonic spirits around them? How do you start with, first of all, figuring out who it is and slowly starting to kind of get rid of them?
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to how Jesus dealt with them. Okay. So Jesus had levels of partners. He had the one, his Father, because he was sent from heaven to die for the sins of mankind. So for 33 years, he walked the earth, and his direct connect was to God the Father. So he had the one, the Father. Then he had the three, which are Peter, James, and John. That was like his boys. That was his crew. That was his ride or dies, okay? But the three, Peter, James, and John, were part of the group of the 12, okay? So you had the one, the three, the 12, and then you had the multitude. Watch how dope this is. To his Father, he told everything. To Peter, James, and John, he told them some inner things. To the 12, he told them inner things, but not as much as to Peter, James, and John. To the multitude, he spoke in parables. A parable is a rhyme, a riddle, and a mystery. We have to become professionals at speaking in parables. Because what happens many times is that there's haters that act like they like you. So they're like, oh my God, Kayla, you're so blowing up. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. But you could feel like,
Okay.
it doesn't feel like this is really the truth. Because it's not.
Yeah.
So if they ask you what you're doing next, you just go step by step. You never know. I'm just open to see what happens, okay? Because that is your multitude.
Oh.
So we speak to the multitude in parables, rhymes, riddles, mysteries. Because the Bible says only a fool tells their whole heart. But then you come to a Tim Storey who can handle you, and you could say to me, what the heck? My company has exploded. Oh my gosh, I'm selling in Beverly Hills. I'm selling in Orange County. I'm going to start selling in Marbella, Spain. You could tell me anything because I'm your ride or die on the inside. And so what's happened to people is that they have given information to people that are really being influenced by the enemy.
No.
They're sleeping with the enemy.
As someone sleeping with the enemy, wow. As someone like me that is an empath and is so open and vulnerable to everyone because that's how I connect with people, because I genuinely care, I share too much. I share too much. I share way too much. I need to work on that.
Yeah, so if I was life coaching you, being that I'm a life coach, what I would say to you is I don't mind that for the past, Kayla, but for who you are now, we're going to turn that off like a faucet.
Yeah.
Because who you are now is you're visible. People know who you are. People see who you are. And really, you're just in development. Like where you are right now, my goodness, what's going to happen to you in the next 12 months is going to be next level, God-sized, Biggie-sized stuff. So it's awesome that we're learning that we can't be that person anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And now we move on in this new thing. Now, I always treat people fair, okay? But I'm also firm.
Right. Yep.
I'm fair, but I'm firm. Like, even around women, like I've seen some like guys that are not even that cute that have charisma that speak at these big meetings and girls come after them, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't like get off on the fact that people give me attention because I have a gift. But when someone comes to me and they're flirting or acting a certain way, I tell you, I'm nice, but there's a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Even like my male friends will go like, whoa, like it's amazing. Like I saw the way you just shut those people down.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think we have to guard.
Yeah.
We have to guard what we've been given.
Yeah. Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because sometimes you can walk away from those people.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you're forced to be around those people.
Yeah.
Right? So it could be people at work. You don't have a choice. You don't have a say in that. You can't fire them and you probably can't even quit your job, right? Or family members, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you're living in the same household or whatever. So that's really powerful to hear for everyone.
But I'm going to give you good advice on that.
Okay.
So what we do is, because you're an optimist, we have high expectations for things and situations. Before you went on a vacation recently, you told me about where you're going, and then you had high expectations, and the vacation actually met the expectations and exceeded them. But in dealing with people, in most cases, we have to lower our expectations. And I think that people think about Thanksgiving like, okay, this one's going to be better. Last time my drunk cousin messed it up, or my mother was tripping, or so-and-so was acting funny. For me, I don't have real high expectations on how I think Thanksgiving's going to go, or even Christmas, or even certain parties. I just kind of lower my expectations and just say, it'll be good to be around the people. Let's be nice. Let's connect. Okay?
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to speak to them like they're in the multitude, not like they're in my inner circle.
Oh, that's so good.
It'll change your life.
Yeah. No, without a family member, same. I had to lower my expectations, and after that, actually, I didn't lower it. I just put no expectations.
Yeah.
And now I'm no longer hurt by her. If there's anything she does or says that in the past would disappoint me.
Yeah.
So now it's like, that's so true. And that's important for people to hear as well. Because when you have a really, really big heart and you want the best for everyone, you want people to be happy, you do have these high expectations. And so when they don't meet that, you just get disappointed and hurt, and you're the one that's disappointed and hurt, not them.
Yes.
Right. So that was a really good point.
But you're saying something that is true about you, about this idea of being an empath, which you are. But that's also one of the gifts of the Spirit, which is in the Bible, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, where God gives gifts unto people. And a lot of what you're moving in is what's called discerning of spirits, where you can pick up on people's motives. You probably had that even back in the day when guys were trying to hit on you, even when you were young.
Yeah. No, I did.
Does that make sense?
No, I did. I just thought like my judgment was good. I didn't know it was the gift of discernment until obviously after I came to God.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've had this gift my whole life.
Yes. So the gift is there.
Yeah.
But what happens is that as you become more clear, and you start to walk in clarity, what happens, the antenna picks up more. And that's really intense, because now if you notice, you can walk in a room and you just start picking crap up.
That just happened to me recently.
Is this amazing?
This is so good. No, that happened to me recently. I don't know if I should get into it, but I just was dating this guy, been on a couple of dates with him. Yeah. And things started happening. You're laughing because you know who I'm talking about. Oh, I'm not saying any names, so we're fine.
Yes.
And I just picked up on the little things. And he claimed that he was this, that, and the other, godly man, all the things. No, he sure wasn't. And I was able to pick it up very quickly. And he was kind of manipulating the situation and trying to turn it on me. And, and I was like, nope. Like, it's not going to work for me. Because it's just when you get that strength from God versus who, like getting that strength from who I was before. Now I get my strength from God. You can't touch this.
Yes.
Like it's so strong that like it just doesn't work anymore. And it's just such a great place to be.
Yeah. So what I love is, do you remember like when we were kids, when we first saw these trucks that would like, they would pull into the bank, and the main company out here in LA was like Brinks, the Brinks trucks. And they're the ones that like would get the large amounts of money from banks, take the money in, take the money out. I remember one time my daughter, when she was really little, she goes, "Dad," she goes, "these guys have guns," because they came out with guns because they had these large amounts of money, currency going into the bank. So she said, "Why are they doing that?" I said, "Because what they have is so valuable, they have to protect it." I said, "So not only do they have guns," she was real young. I said, "that is an armored car. You could shoot it and the bullets will not even go through it." She was all excited. And I said, "But you have to understand that we are that valuable, that's how God sees us, that he finds ways to protect us." So we need to see that.
Yep.
Like we are walking around as valuable human beings.
And powerful. Of him. Yeah.
Because of him.
Yep.
So I'm not vibing on my own tunes like I am this Tim Storey and I created this thing. Like even this morning, this guy ran into me and he said, "Do you realize," I'd never met him, "you are effing Tim Storey?" And I go, "Well, good to meet you." Those were I'd never met him. Those were the first words out of his mouth. He saw me on the street.
Yeah.
That was so funny. Because I don't think that I like pulled all this off.
Right.
I think that I'm in alignment to my assignment. I'm doing what God has called me to do at this stage of my life, and it's working.
Yep.
And he's given me people like yourself and others that really care about me. We build community of people that are there for us. And we don't really need everybody behind us. We just need a few.
Yeah, 100%. We're humble. We're humble because we surrender to God and we know that.
Yeah.
Versus people that egotistically use God.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to see where I'm going with this. They use God as like for their ego.
Yeah.
Right? And almost like they use him as a tool.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You see where I'm going with this?
Yes, I do.
Right?
Yeah.
So how does, maybe you, I don't know how to say it in words.
But I know the answer to the question.
Okay.
Okay, the answer to the question is
to
this.
know the difference between the two.
Yeah. So the Apostle Paul in the New Testament, so he wrote 13 books of the New Testament. So there was 12 disciples. The Apostle Paul comes late, right? Like it was the Jackson 5 and then came Randy Jackson. He was number 6.
Oh.
That's funny. So that's how the Apostle Paul was. Okay?
Got it. Okay.
But he wrote 13 books of the Bible. So he says, I have a problem with this. Why are these people preaching about Christ, but they're doing it with wrong motives?
Yes. Thank you.
And then God comes back to him and says, at least they're saying something about me. So even if they're doing it with jacked up motives,
okay,
and they're really whack in what they're saying, you know what? Somebody is still hearing, even though the motives are wrong and incorrect. So I think the way we have to look at it is, you know what? That's just the way it is. There's going to be that big preacher who's an egomaniac, or that lady who's an egomaniac, or that person who's using scriptures on everything, but we know she's not really that lady. Make sense?
God, that pisses me off though.
But I don't blame you. No, but it should.
I see what you're saying, but still, because those are the people that are steering people astray.
Yeah.
And they end up getting hurt by those people. And it makes me so upset. So for everyone listening, notice the difference between the two.
Yes.
Okay. No, and if you do find out that their motives were wrong, that's okay. Just continue on your search, continue to get closer with God, and he will bring the right people into your life. Pray about it. Talk to God about it. Be like, hey, if these are the people that are not right for me, remove them. Show the truth. Reveal the truth. And bring in the right people into my life.
No, I like that. But you know this. You've heard this before. And I think every listener of the podcast right now has heard it before. When they're trying to figure out if a dollar bill or $100 bill is counterfeit, they touch the real over and over. Okay. And then when they touch the counterfeit and they touch it, they know it's not real because they know the real. So we have to get entrenched in the real, the Jesus style, the Jesus experience, people who truly are walking in love and compassion and forgiving. That I think it exposes the counterfeit very quickly.
Good. Okay. I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah.
Working your land and prosper where you are planted.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So that's like a Tim Storey greatest hits.
I love this.
That's like when I went 3 times, because, I'm close with this guy named Kanye West. And so I went 3 times to the Watch the Throne tour with him and Jay-Z. And if I did not do this one, it would be like if I held out one of my greatest hits from you. So the Bible says, Proverbs 12:11, he or she who works their land shall have abundance. Abundance means extremely plentiful, oversufficient, more than enough. So that's where you are and that's where you're headed. So I'm just foretelling where you're headed, okay? So to work your land is to work what's in front of you. So part of your land is that you have an amazing son. So working your land is to be the amazing mother that you are. To work your land is to have your job and your career. To work your land is to be on television. To work your land is to write books. To work your land is to have this podcast. To work your land is to be the amazing speaker that you are. So those are things that you're working your land. So what is working your land, Tim Storey? To get a harvest, you have to plow the ground, plant the seed, water the seed, and then you get the harvest. So the thing I love about you is that every day you're hustling.
Hey, okay, we got to cue the music. All right, you guys.
See, that's you.
Yeah.
Every day you're hustling. Every day you're hustling. I told you this morning I was watching your makeup tutorial.
Yeah.
Like I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I got employees. I got businesses.
Yeah, no, I won't get into
but
that.
My point is,
yeah.
Every day you're hustling.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You're plowing.
Right.
But here's what I love about what you're doing now. You're planting the right seeds to get the right harvest. So even with you in a relationship, when you choose to really get into a deeper relationship with a man, you got to be careful because the place where you are right now, who could handle you?
Isn't that the truth?
No, think about this.
No, I think about it a lot.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I'm not one of your girlfriends. So watch. So you got to plow, but you got to plant the right seed. And so like every day I have a chance to plant seeds. So one of the things people don't know that I do, I call about 5 men every day just to check on them. It's this early already. I've already talked to 2. For no reason. I don't want anything. I don't need anything. I just like, hey, so-and-so, how you doing? Just checking up on you. Just want to tell you I love you. Like grown men. And so many of them aren't used to that. Why are you doing that? I want to plant good seeds into their lives. So you plow, you plant, you water, which is repetition, and then the harvest will come. So paydays is on its way, and that's what you are having in your life right now. You're in a harvest season. Okay.
So work with what you have right now.
Yes.
And just continue, because it's also in the Bible. Recently I read about it. being lazy, not working your harvest, right?
Okay.
So is that a sin?
Okay, let's go hard at this though.
Okay.
Okay. You got any inner city left in you?
Inner city, what?
Do you have any inner city? Like, I'm looking for like the girl from the streets. You got any street left in you?
What do you mean? I come from the street.
That's my point. Like the good, like the.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least you have some cousins that are locked up. Okay, so here's what I'm looking for from you right now.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'm coaching you. Is that I always say this: if you work at Taco Bell, do it with everything you got. You may say like, "I hate this job. This job's beneath me." No, work your land. Make me a gordita. Take care of the chihuahua, and shut the hell up.
No, that's very true.
I'm serious.
Yeah, no.
Work your land.
Yeah.
Because what happens, it creates patterns. So if you go from McDonald's or Taco Bell or somewhere else, work your land.
Yep.
See, this is what I think you're about, because I see you as a mother, is that, man, come on. There were times your son was ill. You don't feel like going to CVS to get him things or take him to the emergency or do the things that mothers have to do. My mother had 5 kids, and she had to do a lot of things she wasn't in the mood to do. She was working 1.5 shifts at Winchell's Donut Shop to support us when my father died when I was only 10 years of age. So my point is that you prosper where you're planted. Okay? So watch how cool this is. The Bible says, do you see a person skilled at their work? They will be ushered into the places of greatness. So that's what's happening to us. I just became skilled at coaching people. Yeah. Skilled at speaking. Skilled at listening. And it's taken me around the world.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm so glad you covered that, because I have family members. So I come from WIC and food stamps and Section 8 housing.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Yes.
When I said the streets, I didn't mean like you were walking the streets.
Well, technically I was for a little bit, but
no, but for a minute you're
but yeah. No, but here's the thing. I have family members still to this day that takes advantage and lives off of that still. Yeah. I had all of that. Yes. Growing up and even as a mother. Okay. And so I looked at the system about like, because it's very broken, right? Yeah. I started questioning when I sat there in front of my, not counselor, but it was, what's the, I already forgot the name because it's so detached from my mindset. Social worker. Thank you. I've completely disconnected myself. That was just a chapter that I lived. That's no longer who Kayla is. Not that I'm putting anyone down. Yes. Right. But when I sat down in front of my social worker at the time, I noticed that they started giving me less money. I was like, well, why are you giving me less money? They said, because you're making more money. That is when it hit me. A light bulb came on and I was like, so you mean to tell me you guys are only willing to help me as long as I make the lowest amount of income? Wow. And from there, I made a choice. And I said, I am not going to become the system. I'm not going to allow this to limit me. Yes. And I just completely said, you know what? Keep it. This is almost disrespectful. Yes. I will go figure it out on my own. And I had chances to keep using food stamps and keep using WIC and keep using all the government assistance. Yes. But I made a choice and I said, no, I'm not going to limit myself because it's unfair. And I don't see myself. And so anyways, so when I see my family members still to this day and they have multiple children still doing it. And it's like, no, that's not what it's about. You can use it as a tool. Now, I'm not saying you should be ashamed that use it as a tool to get yourself back up. Yes. And better. I like what you're saying. So it might be temporary. Right. So a temporary tool, temporary help
but you know that there's more inside of them that if they turn the light on, they can do it.
Yep.
And so there's no doubt about that in what you're saying. And so, you know, this idea of working the land, one of the beautiful things about it is that the harvest that you're having in your life and that I'm having in my life, I will admit it, this harvest for you and me is many times beyond what we even envisioned. So like a lot of people, they're like always talking about just manifestation. What we are looking to manifest is what God has put in our heart. I don't want to manifest what he has not put in my heart. I don't want to manifest what's not his plan. Okay? I want to be in alignment to his assignment. And so when God puts something in your heart and then you begin to work your land, plow, plant, water, the payday that's on its way is going to be at such high levels, it's going to be weird.
I like that. It's going to be weird.
It's going to be weird.
I like weird.
Oh, yeah.
Can you define manifest? Because as someone that came from New Age, what does that mean in Christianity?
So because I break down words for a living, is the word manifest means to make clear, to make evident, to make apparent, okay? To lift off the veil. So I've had these talks with Oprah just in her backyard, just talking about manifestation. So manifestation has really been like taken by the New Age movement to where they're constantly talking about just the thought life, visualizing something, and then manifesting it, okay? But manifestation is from the Old Testament to the New Testament. So in the Bible, it says we should see those things that have not happened yet and see them as that they are already coming towards us. That's talking about manifestation. It's in the Old Testament to the New Testament of manifesting things.
Oh, so okay. So when you pray to God, because I've heard people say in the church, when you pray to God, pray as if it already happened.
Yes.
That's what they mean.
Yes. So that's faith. So that's a scripture. So if I sound like I know a lot of scriptures, I should, because I went to seminary forever. So that's Mark, the book of Mark, New Testament, chapter 11, verse 23 and 24. And it says, whatever things you desire, believe that you have received them and you shall have them.
Oh, so the New Age did take that.
Yes.
But they disconnected it from God.
It's a disconnect from a biblical idea.
Oh, that totally makes sense.
Yes.
I was so confused. I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, so believe that you have received it and you shall have it. Now, so let's go in your life for a minute.
Okay.
So you're going to manifest more business. You're going to be bigger, better, and more miraculous in the area of your career. Okay? Do you know why? It's God's plan for your life. So all we're doing is cooperating with the plan. So we're not on our grind like the rest of the world, like, I'm on my grind. I beat the sun up. Okay? No, we are simply in alignment to our assignment.
For those that don't understand that, break that down really quick, what that means.
Okay. So, number one, we've all been given assignments. So let's say if you played soccer when you were a little girl, and they said, okay, Kayla, you play this position. Brittany, you're in this one. Kylie, you're in this one. Courtney, I'm pretending you played with all the Kardashians. That was funny. Okay. So you would all have a position.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's also Kayla. Kayla.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Exactly. See
Go
that? How that worked?
Yeah. I got that. It took a minute.
Exactly. Okay. So what happens is that's your assignment to play in your little position. Don't run over to Kim Kardashian's position in soccer. That's your position. So I don't want to be Tony Robbins. I don't want to be any of these TV preachers or have a mega church. That's not what I do. I do something else. So your assignment is your God-given task. T-A-S-K.
Okay.
You know how powerful this is?
Yes.
So watch. If you told your son when he was younger, throw out the trash, and then why is the backyard so messed up? Go clean it. So you gave him two things. Throw the trash, clean up the backyard. That's a task.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his assignment.
Okay.
God gives his children tasks.
How does one know or find the assignment for them?
Okay. So I got to just tell you, you must have slept well because your questions are so good.
I slept very good last
Oh my
night.
God.
I can keep going.
Either that or you're on Christian gummies. I don't know what it is, but my God. The clarity.
Thank you.
Look at,
I am getting better, I must say. I'm very proud of
the
myself.
clarity is overwhelming.
I love it.
Okay, so the question is how does one find what?
The assignment, their assignment, specifically for them.
It's simple. Okay. Your calling calls you. Your calling calls you. You see hurting people and you go, I want to help them.
Mm-hmm.
You see somebody singing, I may want to sing. You see somebody selling houses, I may want to do that. You see somebody in addiction, I may want to help people that have been addicted. So your calling calls you, and a lot of it is through what we observe.
Mm.
If you go back to your childhood, you observed certain things that help create the person you are right this second.
That totally makes sense.
That's why they pay me the big money.
Of course.
That's why they pay me a whole car to go speak
never-
at a conference.
I never questioned you whatsoever.
And not a small one.
Yeah. I also like to say it's whatever breaks your heart.
Yeah.
And to answer you, kind of going back to the very beginning of this episode, I told you I feel like my calling is just connecting with people and helping them on a level. And it just hit me right now that I didn't have a voice growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I find so much fulfillment in helping people find their voices.
Yes.
And helping people become the best versions of themselves, because I did not have that growing up.
Yes.
Or in my adult life.
So I 100% agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, in a biblical way of looking at it, we would call that a burden, burden, where somebody has a burden for someone.
Mm.
So it's like Mother Teresa had a burden or a calling towards the people that had no food and no place to live, the orphans.
Yeah.
So you have a burden for the underdog. So I have a burden for those that have been in a setback that need a comeback, and that's why they called me the comeback coach. And so, yeah, what your calling is calling you.
Yeah.
And part of the reason your life is working so well is that you decided to answer the call.
Wow. You know what else just hit me? I know why I like to sell homes.
Mm-hmm.
Because mine was taken away from me.
Wow.
Wow.
It's huge, though.
Oh my God.
No, but that's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I love? So when I watch you on the show, which I'm not a guy that has a lot of time because of the type of schedule that I have and commitments to help people. So I binge watched your show recently when I was in Italy. Instead of going to Lake Como and hanging out with fancy people, I binge watch your show. I'm like, enough of her already. I could be in Lake Como. But I love the confidence in which you walk through these big houses. So you could be in a house like that's like 27 million or something, and you just walk through and you go like, watch, nice views. I'm like, yeah.
I thought about that for a minute. Go.
Just let me go.
Okay.
I'm an actor.
Sorry.
Watch. It's so funny.
It's good.
Nice views. Oh my God. This is so good. Love this kitchen. Oh, look at the accessories. Look what they've done. Oh, ceilings. Love high ceilings. I love it because you walk in it like that is you.
Yeah.
That is you. You're grand. You're big. You're a big thinker. You can't help yourself. You don't walk in there scared.
No.
Like, oh my God, this is a big house. Look how high the ceilings are. This really scares me.
I really love that you bring that up because let me just say something. It wasn't always like that.
Okay.
Right? Because I don't come from luxury.
Mm-hmm.
I come from poor to middle class. Okay.
Yes.
That's just a fact. So I've never in my life have seen homes like that until I decided to get my real estate license because I started getting exposed to that world.
Mm-hmm.
So that was years of experience and being in multi-million-dollar homes multiple times.
Yes.
So it wasn't just that, but it was also like it's knowing my value.
Yes.
I could totally get this home and sell it. That's not a problem because a lot of people have that mentality like, oh, I'm not worthy enough to have this as a listing. Like, there's no way I could do this. Was I intimidated? Absolutely. But I believed in myself and I knew that I was going to sell it because I know my ability. I know how hard I work more than anyone else in that office.
Yes.
So that's why it happened. But that's because it's the way that I thought about myself.
See, I love that because a revelation, watch what I do with this, brings conviction. So when you get a revelation of something, it brings conviction. Like if somebody decides they're going to lose weight and maybe they saw pictures of themselves or they saw themselves in a certain situation or maybe they're getting ready for their wedding and they're like, I'm going to lose weight. Because I talk to men and women like that. They have like a revelation and that leads to conviction. And that conviction leads to action. So I think that you are in such a beautiful place in your life right now because you have such a revelation of who God has called you to be. This is your spot. This is your place. And you can play amongst the up and outers, the middle and outers, and the down and outers.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So I know I kind of have to start wrapping it up a little bit. I don't want to. I had one last question. It kind of is off a little bit, but I just really want to hear this from you. What advice can you give to someone that is struggling with giving into the world ways versus God ways?
Yeah. So I think that number one, I don't blame them because it's so blatant. Like the world's ways, like when I was a kid, we didn't have TikTok. You didn't have an iPhone where you could access just almost anything. So I don't blame you. It's almost like trying to not drink and you walk into any 7-Eleven, any place, even to a CVS and see alcohol everywhere. So could you imagine the pressure?
Yeah.
So what do you do to change? You have to guard. Now this is going to be very powerful. You have to guard what I call your eye gate, like the gates of your eyes, and your ear gates, what you listen to and what you see. I'm a master at that. I like beats, like of some of my friends' music, but I will not listen to certain songs because the lyrics are so awful. So I don't let it go in my ears. And I really watch what I watch. You know how powerful that is?
Yeah. No.
So
absolutely.
when you guard your eyes and your ears, you lose the appetite for what the world is saying.
There it is.
Okay? And if you now have a different lens and you start walking in the Word and building yourself up through the Bible and listening to praise and worship music and having amazing conversations with people that are building your faith and starving your doubts, you'll change in 30 days. And then you'll get stronger in another 30 days, and another 30 days. And a year down the line, your life will shift so much. And I'll give you one scripture on this. Okay. Romans 12. It says, be not conformed to the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
So good.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is how we live.
And even when you don't realize it, it is still influencing you. Because people could argue and say, oh, well, yeah, I listened to that, but I don't let it get to me.
Yeah.
No, it does.
It does
subconsciously.
It does. No, so you have to say no, just like pretend you have to be somewhere where you're going to wear a dress, where you're going to be at a certain weight and a certain look. You know, you're going to have to pass by Krispy Kreme donuts. It's a choice. So I would
still go. Just kidding.
Go after the event.
Yeah, after the event. Yes, definitely after the event.
No, so I make a choice. If I'm gonna roll in this Tim Storey role, which this is not new, man. I've been doing this since I was 18. So I'm not like, oh my God, I'm a thought leader now. No, I've been here a while.
Yeah.
And I don't plan on leaving. And I love mentoring other people like yourself. But I look at people like you to bypass me. Mm-hmm. So that's what's going to be dope to see as you continue to grow, learn, build, and bypass me, that I could just say I played at least a small role.
Yep. I really appreciate you, Tim. I really, really do.
Yeah, I know that.
I know you spoke a little bit about some projects you have coming up, but the last question I do want to ask you is about any new projects you want to talk more about. Yeah. And then, of course, the best way people can connect with you.
Yeah, I think the best way is like the old-fashioned way. My website, timstorey.com. Mm-hmm. My guy, Derek, who does my website, is super, super good. Mm-hmm. And then there, you just see what we're up to.
Yeah.
And then our social media is very, very strong. But I have nothing to like push or talk about. I have projects in the work. But as you know about projects, you can really never know that they're on until they're actually on, right?
Yeah.
It's like even when you were doing these projects with Netflix, you had to literally wait till like, oh my God, it's actually on.
Yeah.
Because something can come so close and then it doesn't work.
Right.
So there's some nice projects in the works and some amazing projects I'm doing now. But more than all that, what a privilege to talk to you. I'm fully present, fully feeling, fully alive. And I just like living life right now. That's where I'm at.
I love that. Do you have one last closing message for our viewers?
Yes, I do. I think we're too tough on ourselves. And I think we need to do what this man named Robert Schuller, who had the Crystal Cathedral, which is not far from here, he said, we need to pause for applause. Pause for applause. And I think we're so into doing and doing and doing. We need to sometimes stop and go, hey, Kayla, you may not be what you want to be, but thank God you're not what you used to be. Yeah.
I needed to hear that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pause for applause.
Yeah.
Because look at you now.
Yeah. That's so good. All right. Thank you so much again for your time, Tim. I appreciate it. And you guys, if you loved this episode as much as I did, or you feel like it would help someone out there, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. And I will see you at the next one.